Here's a story somewhat similar to a story that I told earlier this week. A, a relative of the Rebbe, she her doctor said she had to make an operation. She had to make it urgently. So she was also good friends with the Rebbe's wife. So she called the Rebbe's wife and she said, could you please ask the Rebbe? They want me to make an operation here. And I'm very afraid. I don't know, should I make it? I'm in the hospital and the doctor said this, the doctor said that. And they said that it's urgent that they must make the operation. So the Rebbe's wife, the Rebbitzin, she said to the Rebbe the whole story, who the person is, a relative of ours, and the Rebbe, of course, knew. And the Rebbe said she shouldn't not make the operation. And so the lady called back, and the Rebbe's wife said, I spoke to my husband about it, and he said, you shouldn't make the operation. She said, but the doctors are really forcing me. They're really, okay. The next day she called back and said, listen, I told the doctors I'm not going to make the operation. And they got very angry, and they started threatening me. And they said that you should know you're not going to live another week if you don't make this operation. It's just very, very urgent. And please ask the Rebbe. So the Rebbitzin said, the Rebbe's wife said, listen, I already asked the Rebbe. I asked him, and he already told me. Said, I'm very reluctant to ask him another time. If he brings it up, so I'll ask him. So sure enough, the next day, the Rebbe was drinking tea, whatever, with his wife. And he said, what about that lady that called up yesterday? The Rebbe asked. And she said, well, she called up again. She said, the doctors are really, really threatening her and forcing her. And the Rebbe said, I told you she shouldn't make the operation. She shouldn't listen to the doctors. She should not make the operation. Now, anybody who's ever been in the hospital with such a situation knows the pressure that's involved over here, because the person goes to the hospital, he's already afraid. Something is wrong, right? It's hard for him to breathe or whatever. So he's already afraid. And come the doctors and they have the solution. They agree with the person. We understand that it's hard for you to breathe, or you have heart palpitations or whatever it is. We agree with you. Oh, somebody understands me. And we have the solution. Oh, someone is going to help me. And here, the Lubavitcher Rebbe is saying, don't listen to them. Don't listen. So she's alone. She's alone. She's against all these doctors, and they're all experts, and they're all saying she has to make the operation. And the Rebbe is saying, don't make it. And so she said, okay. So she told the doctors, and the doctors really, they said, listen, it could be that what you're doing is forbidden, and it could be we can even, get a court order, whatever they said. They really, really threatened. I don't know if they really said court order, but I'm just saying they really threatened. They really pressured her. They brought a bigger professor. So she called up again, and the Rebbe's wife said, I'm sorry, I already asked twice. I can't. And sure enough, the next time the Rebbe saw his wife, later that day, whatever, as he asked her, what about that lady? Did she listened to what I said? She says, well, the doctors are pressuring her. She doesn't know what to do. So the Rebbe said, my intention was she should try to find another doctor. Looked in the hospital and find another doctor. So this woman, I guess she was there with her children, whatever. So they went and they found some other doctor in another this. And they asked him if he would, it was one of the doctors that wasn't in the forum that told her she has to make. Would you go and see our mother? So he said, okay, when the other doctors are not there, I'll look, what do you, so he looked and he checked up. He said, what do the other doctors say? You have to make an operation. So but the Lubavitcher Rebbe said not. So he said, well, I agree with the Lubavitcher Rebbe. I don't think she has to make an operation. I think that we can give her some shots, and there's a thing that'll help her, but you have to move her from this department of the hospital to my department. So they did. She checked out against the will of all the doctors, and they moved her over to this other doctor, to his department, where he was the head of the department, and he gave her these injections, and it helped. It helped, and the problem went away. So she called up immediately as soon as she got the good news. So she called up the Rebbe's wife, and she said, please tell the Rebbe that I'm sorry I didn't listen in the beginning. I had my doubts, and that I'm very, very grateful you saved my life, and etc. The Rebbe's wife told the Rebbe that what happened, and that this lady, she said she was sorry, that she had doubts in the beginning, and that she was very thankful, and that she wanted to give her thanks to the Rebbe. And the Rebbe said to his wife, people have to know that when we say something, that you have to listen. We is talking about the Rebbe's of Chabad. So the Rebbe's of Chabad, it's not exactly like the other tzaddikim and the holy people of Israel. It's a whole different sort of a realm of fixing up the world. And they have these insights into what needs to be done to fix up the world that nobody else has. Or maybe you can say they have the insights that maybe they make the blessings that fix up the world. How exactly it doesn't work, I'm not a Rebbe and I'm not the son of a Rebbe. But the Rebbe said, when we say something, that you have to listen. So it's coming to tell us that, up to now, the Rebbe has never been wrong in anything that he said. Anything. The amazing prophecies that he said about the 6-Day War and about the Gulf War and about the falling of the Iron Curtain and all things, exactly right. So if the Rebbe said Mashiach is here, we have to just open up our eyes. And that we finished the exile and we're beginning the redemption. So maybe we don't see it, we don't feel it. It's like all the doctors telling this lady, you got to make the operation according to science. But the Rebbe sees. So we have to listen to what the Rebbe says and live in a world of God's love and good. And if we think good, then we'll see that it really is good. Have a good day with Mashiach now. It's Shabbos Mavorchim, Chazak, Chazak, Vanith Chazek. We should be strong and powerful, and we will be strengthened in the Geula Emitit Veshlema, together with the Rebbe, Melech HaMashiach, Tzidkenu, now. Shalom Uvracha. Have a good Shabbos, everyone. See you on Sunday, 8:15.